How's it going, everyone? We're going to get right to the point. So today we are reviewing the Coros Pace Pro running watch. So I've really gone back and forth between all different types of watches. I'm currently on the Apple Watch Ultra 3, which I will definitely do a review about in a little bit. But I'm getting rid of this thing, and before I get rid of it, I'm going to do a little review. So this is from Coros. This is quite a well-known brand in the running space, and this is just going to be like a one-time video. I'm going to do like no editing, just get the content out there as fast as possible. This is sort of their mid-tier performance watch. It's very lightweight, dual band GPS. I believe the battery lasts around 20 days with always display off. Um, and overall, it's I think it's a full resin build with sort of Coros's sort of twist dial mechanism right here. So you can turn this, you can click it, and then you also have like a lap and or notes button. So for example, if you're running and you want to leave like a certain pin on a location, you can do that specifically on the map. So the things I like about the watch, we'll start with the things that I like. I love the battery. I love the lightweight nature of the watch, given that it's resin, and this thing is like a monster with the full titanium and sapphire glass. It's really heavy. Um, I love the fact that, in a sense, this thing is really easy to use because it's not a connected watch. And what I mean by that is that in order to put data, or not data, but just like podcasts or music, you have to drag and drop all that stuff on the watch. It's a huge pain in the butt, and it's very, very non-user friendly. A lot of the focus of what I do on this channel is to make sure that the content is consumer friendly and you understand exactly what it is you're buying. This watch, I would say the target market is for someone that is fitness exclusive. If you're looking for like smartwatch features, for example, you can double click this button right here. I can click my action button. I can put the flashlight. This is great for, let's say, at night, when I have to change a diaper, or if I'm running around the house. It's very, very, very straightforward. Anyways, back to the Coros Pace Pro. I really love the dual band nature of the GPS. The GPS, my family and I were in Florida about a month ago, and to see that deadlock GPS on the beach was actually quite impressive. And even when we're just walking around in an area, there's like a little route. So if you go onto the map feature of your actual activity, you can bring it back to the map if you get lost. So it's very, and again, we're talking about the likes. The things that I like is it's just an easy watch to use. The things I don't like, or actually no, let me got one more thing. The ecosystem, the Coros ecosystem is very simple to use, but again, it's very fitness oriented. For example, like you have your VO2 max metrics, your training load metrics, which all of those things, and you can even have your, if you connect your Coros watch to Strava, this is a fun little feature. You can have the actual training load in the actual workout description, which is fun if that's something that really matters to you, I guess. Um, the things that now moving on to the things I don't like, and in my personal opinion, things I don't like outweigh the things that I do like about the watch. Things I don't like about the watch is, and I think at the core of any fitness or lifestyle related watch, is that the optical heart rate monitor is going to feed the entire ecosystem. And this thing is garbage. The actual optical, so I'll take the band off. And again, it's really lightweight, but it doesn't really matter. So you have the nice sort of reflective optical heart rate monitor here. Again, it's very lightweight. So you're going to get a good cinch, and you're going to get good, accurate data. Well, accurate's relative, right? You're going to get a bunch of metrics, but then what you do with those metrics, I'm not entirely sure. The nice thing, for example, on the Apple Watch is that you have your heart rate data that is by far the industry leading metrics on the market using what's called vitals. So I'll show you what vitals are first of all. So, and again, so for example, let's say I have my resting heart rate last night was 47 beats per minute, breaths were low, temperature was low, blood ox was good, and I slept 8 hours and 17 minutes. None of that is, again, it's just a different product. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just different in the sense that they're gearing this more towards the pure fitness clientele of who exactly would use this watch, versus you could argue the Apple Watch is much more of like passive, or maybe a hobbyist, fitness enthusiast. But I think it's much more fitness and lifestyle oriented in something like an Apple Watch, versus the Coros Pace Pro, which is very tuned towards fitness and fitness-oriented activities exclusively. The other thing that I found to be just a huge non-negotiable is the fact that this thing is non-LTE. So, and what I mean by that is this watch, if I go for a run, this little feature right here turns to 5G, meaning I can call my spouse on the run. If there's an emergency at home, I can make sure that I'm routed correctly. If I get lost, I can use the LTE functions of the watch to get home. I can make WhatsApp phone calls. I went for a run once and I ended up having, let's say, technical difficulties when we're talking about having to use the bathroom. And I ended up calling my wife and I can get a bicycle in the area or she can find things on my behalf through the watch. Again, I'm not trying to make this like an apples, no pun intended, versus oranges conversation. It's more just understanding the relative benefits of the Pace Pro and how they didn't actually fit my lifestyle. So I see a lot of videos talking about fitness wearables specifically. And I think the most important thing to understand is you have to really do your homework and also be, understanding of your own lifestyle. I ended up selling my Apple Watch Ultra 2 and ended up purchasing this as sort of a replacement because I was getting a little bit overwhelmed by some of the interconnected features, for example, email, text, and I could have just turned those off. And the battery life was sometimes a bit annoying on the 2, but I never ran into an instance where I ran out of battery. Overall, again, for the relative use case of me, Dexter, the experimenter for the sake of this actual review, it is a good watch. Is it a good watch for me? No, because my needs are different than what the actual sort of manufacturer's use case envisions as a consumer. So I think overall, if you're looking, so I would say the target use case of this specific watch is if you are a hardcore outdoor enthusiast that doesn't necessarily need the sort of connected lifestyle features, or is somewhat indifferent towards the fact that the overall metrics and the heart rate data is not going to be elite, right? So if you're looking for like the best metrics, um, you're not necessarily going to get that with Coros, but you don't necessarily need that because then the battery life outweighs all of that. 20 days, that's insane. But you have to take into account that it's 6 days with always on display on. I just found like being able to buy a coffee, being able to call, being able to check things, those factors outweighed the fitness factors. So you just take that into account. Anyways, it's a really, really nice watch. Again, the resin is a bit different if you're coming from like an Apple Watch where it's full titanium. You just have to take into account where this is going to be obviously a lot heavier because it's a different material and this is plastic. I think you can get the nylon band. It's about 38 grams. And with the full I think with this sort of silicone, it's about 45 or 48. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more content. I have a lot more fitness-oriented tutorials, reviews, things of that nature, sort of getting into that fitness space. Make sure to follow your boy. And if you have any questions about the watch, make sure to leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. Anyways, thanks so much and take care.